If you still think politics is a battle between left and right, globalism and nationalism, Trump and his enemies, then you're already outmatched. What you're watching isn't conflict, it's choreography. The noise, the outrage, the elections, the heroes and villains are all surface level theater designed to keep your eyes off the machinery that never changes. While people argue over personalities, power has quietly migrated into permanent boards, councils, and expert panels that do not campaign, do not answer to voters, and do not leave when administrations change. The Board of Peace isn't about ending war, it's about ending disruption. And once you see what role Trump actually played in that transition, you'll understand why opposition feels real, why nothing fundamentally changes, and why the system no longer needs your consent to function. People keep treating Donald.
First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone who teach 100% truth. Shalom to the 144,000 and to the elect. Just your brother Ra'aya, back with another video. And yeah, he's spitting some real, y'all. So let's start from the beginning.
If you still think politics is a battle between left and right, globalism and nationalism, Trump and his enemies, then you're already outmatched. What you're watching.
Right? You're already not in the knowing. If you believe that these parties are separate from each other, Democrat and Republic, DJT versus Russia and China and all of them, although they are going to, cause the destruction because the beasts do hate the whore, right? The NATO and EU, they're going to turn against Babylon the Great, aka America. But if you think that they're not all in cahoots on the system that's being the whole worldwide system that's being implemented, which is the New World Order, which is the beast system that's being implemented here, then you not even close to knowing what's going on. If you don't know that they're all in cahoots, they're all on one accord with this being pushed, then you don't have a clue what's going on out here. Right? First off, let's start there, because, just like we can use the Democrats and the Republicans, they're just a different side of the same coin. They're the same. They're the same. The same people are running these things. It's just they're playing roles like theater, like as if they're opposition to each other. Just like how you'll be playing a role for a movie, right? And in the movie, you have an antagonist. You're the good guy, but there's an antagonist in the movie where he's the bad guy, and you have to, you know what I mean? In the movie, you have to play like you don't mess with him, like he's the bad guy. But behind the scenes, when the film isn't rolling, y'all good. Y'all just know that y'all playing a role, right? So that's the same thing that's happening here.
Isn't conflict, it's choreography. The noise, the outrage, the elections, the heroes and villains are all surface level.
He said the elections and all that, right? If you still think that your vote means anything, then you are not of the elect. You're not in this thing. If you still believe that a vote has anything to do after seeing all of this political corruption that's happening right now since the Epstein files been dropped, right? After seeing all of these things, if you still think that your vote counts or matters, after seeing all of these people, these political people, these stars, all these people that you've seen in this list and in those files, you still think that because all the higher up, that your presidents, council people, all of these people are in these files. If you still think that your vote means anything, then you're already behind the bunch. You're already look, the race has started and you didn't even hear the gun go off. That's how far behind you are. Everybody already through the race and you just still at the finish line. You don't have a clue what's going on. Right? So yeah, yo, these votes, all of this shit, if anything, it should teach everybody is that nothing that you doing here means anything, not your constitution. From all of this, right? From the ICE coming in, doing all the stuff that they've been doing to everybody. Um, the National Guards, when they went to LA and they was doing the shit they was doing to them. All this stuff that's happening should show y'all that none of these things, all of these things that you hold dear to you, like your constitutions and amendments and all that, are all a falsity. They're all false. They're all smoke and mirrors, basically. Because the moment where you don't do what they want you to do, all of these things is taken out the you know what I mean, out the way. And if we know any better, they've been planning these things for years, right? Because we do know we're not ignorant to this man's devices, right? So this is 2 Corinthians 2:11. Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Like, it ain't like we don't know what's going on. It ain't like we don't know that he plans stuff 20 years before he even implements the first, move and stuff. Because he trying to play chess and all that with everybody. And by him, I mean the elite banking families of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. They think they playing chess, but truly the Heavenly Father is using them. They don't even know this. They don't even know it. And if they don't know it, But they think they playing chess with us, and they move. Although their moves are slow, they are dynamic moves where they'll shake things up if you're not paying attention, right? If you're not paying attention to this move that they're using, they use a lot of pawns in this game, right? One of those pawns being DJT, right? Although he's a high level pawn, you know what I mean, a rich pawn, he's still a pawn. He still can move forward. You know what I mean? He can't really move nowhere else unless he have the backing from all these other things. Like, in order for that pawn to stay alive, it needs the knight to be ducked off to protect it. You know what I mean? And that knight represent the army, the military. And that's something how and I wouldn't even say DJT was the king or any of that. These elite banking families are those. They are them. But him, he just a pawn still. He got a couple billion, right? These people got trillions and more than that. Right? So he's not even on their level. They just using him so he can be the scapegoat of all of the agenda that they need to be done. Now let's go back.
Designed to keep your eyes off the machinery that never changes. While people argue over personalities, power has quietly migrated into permanent boards, councils, and expert panels that do not campaign, do not answer to voters, and do not leave when...
Exactly. These people, these elite banking families, they don't have to wait. If they control the earth, and we know they do, why would they put the power? Because they're thriving for power, right? If they want to control the earth, you have to have power to do so, right? Why would they leave that power in the hands of some stupid ass people that they put in public schools just so they can be workers? Why would they leave that power in the hand of some dumb ass people who don't even know that there's a difference that there's no difference between the Republicans and Democrats, that they are actually the same? They might say that they have opposing views to each other, but when you look at what they're doing, they're still doing the same damn things. They're working on this. They're the same coin, different sides of the coin. You know, but they're still the same. You know, they're working with the system. They are the system, and you know, let me get back to it. My bad.
Change. The Board of Peace isn't about ending war, it's about ending disruption. And once you see what role Trump actually played in that transition, you'll understand why opposition feels real, why nothing fundamentally changes, and why the system no longer needs your consent to
Because you got to think about it, right? DJT been talking all this shit about Russia and China, right? But we'll sit up there and meet or look, Vladimir Putin. Then I don't know how many times they didn't met with each other, and Trump said, "Yeah, that's my boy. I like him. I fuck with him." And then on the other side of his mouth saying, "We don't want Russia to be close neighbors to us." Because of the Greenland thing, he said Russia and China are gonna try to get at it, and we don't need Russia or China as a neighbor. We don't need that, and all this. Like, hold on, why like a dragon talking out two sides of your mouth? First, you saying that you fuck with Putin, then the next you saying you don't need him, and all. Man, they are with each other. This is all theater. How he been saying. This is all the Most High Yahweh's movie, right? And he's been producing it how he wants it to come out. This is what it is. And then this is further to show you the state of confusion this place has pushed around the earth, where even the people that's in China or Russia, they're confused about where they stand with America when America is pushing. See, look, I know they probably confused, like, why is Vladimir Putin going to meet with Donald Trump when Donald Trump and Biden and them is the ones who calls for Ukraine to go to war with us, and we're losing people and all. What are they doing? Like, it don't make sense. The reason why it don't make sense is because it's all planned bullshit. It don't make sense for you if these was truly your enemies, for you to go and sit down and do all that type of shit with them. Like, nah, that ain't happening. And these are the Edomites. These are the Edomites, man.
People keep treating Donald Trump as if he represents a real rupture in the system, as if his presence proves opposition still exists. It doesn't. Trump's role was not to dismantle the structure, it was to absorb, redirect, and neutralize dissent that was becoming unmanageable after 2008. Occupy Wall Street scared the managerial class far more than any foreign enemy ever did. For the first time since the 1970s, the public was naming banks, naming financial instruments, naming systemic theft. And that had to be shut down. Trump didn't emerge to fight the system. He emerged to rebrand it in nationalist language and pull anger away from finance, bureaucracy, and governance continuity, and then redirect it.
DJT's purpose is to direct and pull in the NWO, the New World Order, and to implement the beast system and the MOTB. He got to be the guy that implement this thing, because it don't look like nobody else is doing what this man has done. He didn't came in and did things that people, and said things that people ain't never, you know what I mean, never seen. So he is that cruel Lord in Isaiah 19, you know.
Toward culture, identity, and spectacle.
So he's going to implement, and I believe entirely he's going to implement the MOTB. We ain't too far from it, because how the way he going with ICE and stuff, once he start coming for Southern Kingdom, that's the recipe for everything to go down. How the way it's going down. Look, they laying the blueprint right now. They not the blueprint, but they laying the foundation of it right now. All right.
Look at what actually happened during his presidency, not what people felt. Central banking power expanded, not contracted. The Federal Reserve balance sheet exploded after COVID, setting the precedent for unlimited monetary intervention. CARES Act spending normalized direct coordination between the Treasury, the Fed, and major financial institutions. Operation Warp Speed centralized public private power between government, pharmaceutical giants, and military logistics. Digital surveillance increased through border tech, telecom cooperation, and data sharing. None of this was rolled back. None of it was resisted. It was signed.
And notice when DJT got in and that COVID jab started to pop off, as he said, all it did was increase the your privacy from being privacy. Like they increased in the telecom, which they started how do you say listening more to the phone calls, or how do you say monitoring started monitoring the phone calls and messages that's been sent. It gave them more ability and consent to do so with that. It gave them more ability to start pushing more cameras and more because I remember this during COVID, people was like, while we locked down, they sitting up here putting what do you call those things? There was cameras, but they called something else. They putting something they're like some scanners or sensors or something like that, all on the highways and everywhere. They was doing something. They was pushing up the 6G towers and all man, it was just a whole bunch that was going on during that COVID shutdown, right? And I remember it was a lot of conspiracy around what they were doing, why they needed us to be shut down, and all it did was give them the license to play Big Brother even more, right? So now they can monitor our emails, our phone calls, our videos. Now they can do all this other stuff, just like how they brought in how they the 9/11, how they it was an inside job, and they did this just to take away some more of your privacy without you feeling like they were just snatching it from you. They used the catastrophe, and they never let a good catastrophe go to waste, and they caused for you to have to be scanned and screened through TSA and stuff now, where and then also for them to implement these facial recognition technology and these bio scanning technologies and all of that, which further goes into the MOTB system now. Like that was back then, 9/11, right? All the way now. All of this was implemented up, and that's almost like a 20-year span, or it is a 20-year span. As I said before, like they do things 20 years in advance. They'll play a move, they'll push their pawn up like this, and then they'll let 20 years go past until they push the next piece, because the next piece could be the checkmate that gets everything going. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's essentially how they get things done. And they'll do some shit like they'll cause something to happen just so they can implement something, just like how they caused for all of Northern Kingdom to be able to come here. Biden. Now, this is how you know that they're on the same side. Biden was acting like he was against DJT. DJT was acting like he was against Biden. So, because they created this conflict in our eyes, and made us not look at what they were actually doing. And what they was actually doing was they was pushing the agenda that they wanted to do anyway. If DJT sent them in when he was in office, he sent them remember when he was in office, all of that the stuff with Venezuela and was that Venezuela? It was Venezuela and some other countries. Their country were collapsing around that time. Now Biden gets in, and then he's saying like he's allowing for the immigrants to come in and all that, the so-called immigrants, right, Northern Kingdom to come in, and then from there, knowing that it was going to cause trouble though, because how the way he gave them all that money and all that that housing and all that, and didn't give these people, they know better than that. Like you think these people are stupid? Like you got to really think about it. These people have really planned this down to the T. They allowed them to come through, and then because of all of the benefits they was given to them, they knew that the American public, the actual Americans, would get jealous of that. So that would create a division, right? Just to give them the excuse when DJT, because he has to play the bad guy. Remember, I was telling you there's a good guy in this thing, and there's a bad guy in this thing. They was trying to make him be the bad guy, and he is. He's playing his role good, but so when he got in, because he's the so-called racist guy, and he don't like these Hispanics and so-called blacks and all this, right? That, yeah, so now we got to get them up out of our country and all that. But hold on, y'all the one who allowed them in here. First off, y'all went into their countries and caused their countries to collapse, displaced all these people. So because of what they did, they allowed all these people to come into the country, and then while they got in the country, they gave them a whole bunch of benefits just to be here in the country, and then the next thing you know, now they're trying to push them out and make them villains. It's like, what? Y'all just let all these people in. What are you talking about? Y'all literally let all these people in and didn't even care about them having any past. Y'all said this was an asylum seeking thing. So how are y'all changing this? Now, this is how you know that they're playing the same. They two different sides of the same coin. They're playing in y'all face. They're completely playing in people's faces. You know. And then they had DJT now saying that no, they got to get out, they're criminals and all this stuff. Just an excuse so that they can cause martial law. So they can shut everything down. And they know from doing that, it's going to cause a catastrophe because they're going to force a famine. And from there, it's going to cause for them to push their actual New World Order, because remember, they wanted to get that population down to 500 million, right? I think 500 million or 500. Yeah, 500 million, right? So think about this, right? If they cause this famine, this man-made famine to happen, that's going to kill a lot of people. And then on top of them having the armies there to delete a lot of people as well, and then on top of civil war happening between people, that's going to delete a lot of people as well. You see what I'm saying? And then after that, then they implement, because this is a great disaster that just happened out of nowhere, which we know it didn't happen out of nowhere. We know it is happening because they're manufacturing it to happen, because we're not ignorant to this man's devices. And we know that he's going to do some crazy things. And the reason why he doing this, because he know he got a short time. That's why they moving the way that they do. So this Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And that's why all this shit is happening. It's because they know they have but a short time. They ain't got too much time left. This is Babylon the Great's 250th year of being an empire, right? And it's official on July the 4th, right? So they could very well, things could start popping off even heavy, right? July 4th get here, they shut everybody down, martial law and all that. All hell break loose through the summer, the rest of the summer and all that, right? It could last for July, August, September, October. It can last up to about October, November when it start getting real cold. That's when people gonna start folding. Because when all that hell break loose, the power gonna be out, all of that, right? But at least people could maintain through those summer months and stuff, right? But as soon as that winter come, it's a wrap. And then that's when they start implementing the MOTB. Like, hey, if you want things, if you want to get heat, if you want food, if you want things to come back and all that, then that's when you got to get this MOTB, this RFID, radio frequency identification chip, right? So I ain't really try to make this all drawn out like that, y'all, but Salakia for my ranting. But I'm going to let this play a little bit. I'm going to close out.
Funded and normalized. Trump didn't break the machine. He proved it could survive populism. This is where nationalism versus globalism arguments collapse. Nationalism and globalism are not opposing systems. They are two user interfaces for the same back end. Globalism centralizes power above the nation state through treaties, financial institutions, NGOs, and multinational corporations. Nationalism centralizes power within the nation state through executive authority, security agencies, border enforcement, and emergency powers. Different branding, same outcome. Reduced local autonomy and increased managerial control.
And through all this, to introduce the MOTB, system into this wicked world. But that's gonna be about it, y'all. Y'all go and check this video out. It's on TikTok, Orange Shell Curry 88. Y'all go check his videos out. He got a lot of informative videos. And with that, I'm gonna give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Shalom, y'all. On to the next.